Hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, a conversation. I'm so excited because Deanna and we were really talking before. So I'm like, we need to pause so we can have this conversation and share it with you. So I am here with Deanna Yates, and she is a fellow podcaster. And I want to get this right, one clutter-free podcast. But today we're talking about this, her wonderful new book, Lenora and her super duper messy room. Deanna, hello, I am so happy to be and you to be here because for us to talk about this.
Hi, Janet. Thanks for having me. I am so excited. You and I always have a great time when we chat, so I am happy to be back.
So, I guess really well, you know what, I really want to know your journey because you
Yeah.
organize people, but then you did the podcast and of course now author. So what was your journey like? Like what made you decide to one start organizing but also start the podcast?
Oh, goodness. So that's a long journey. I'll try to keep it quick. I know this is a short show. Um, so, really, I started with just in my own life going from two very different extremes. So, when our daughter was born, my husband and I owned a business and we were working from home. And literally, my journey was my bedroom to the office, and she was on my hip the entire time, right? And after she was born, and we brought her home from the hospital, and I was like, we could be doing this from anywhere, and we weren't living near family, so we didn't really have a lot tying us down. So we ended up selling 95% of what we owned. We traveled Europe for 6 months with a 1 year old, and it was great and hard and all the things, like everything that happens in motherhood. It was just like that on the road. But we came back after 6 months, decided we wanted to try to live near family, and bought a house, did the whole thing, right? Did all the things you're supposed to do with these air quotes. And within a year, we had a 3-bedroom house that was filled to the brim with stuff. So we went from traveling with nothing to inundated with stuff. And I realized that no matter what, there was some stress that was going to be involved, but all the stuff made me so much more stressed. And that was really the start of my journey into decluttering and organizing and being really intentional about what we have. And when I started podcasting, I thought, oh, well, I'm a minimalist. Turns out I'm not a minimalist. I have tried it. It was called Wannabe Minimalist because I thought that's what I wanted to be. But I realized it wasn't about having the least amount of stuff. It was having the right amount of stuff. And everybody's idea of right amount of stuff is different for them. It often depends on, how many kids you have, if you're an empty nester or if you're just starting out, or, if you have a big house, if you have a tiny house, whatever works for you. And so it's no judgments. It's just let's figure out how you can feel in control of your own life, right? And so that you feel like you can knock it out of the park every day and you're not constantly cleaning up after yourself and everyone else and all the other all that just heaviness that comes when I think about the amount of stuff that we used to have. So that was really the start of my journey. And then just helping other people through that. Like my family always wondered, like, how the heck do you travel with just carry on? Like I did a whole month in Europe this summer with just a carry on. How do you do that? And so that's really kind of where helping other people and then the podcast came in, was just more of how can I help people do this on their own and learn. I actually don't go into people's homes very often. I am certified as a professional organizer, but I really like to help people learn how to do it for themselves so that it actually sticks. And then the book came about. So how did I become an author? So many families struggle with, I don't know how to declutter. I have kids now, and how do we do this? And we struggle and we fight, and there's always this kind of battle royale between everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was just a way to have a fun story that takes a girl named Lenora through this idea that her room is getting too filled with stuff. And she can't find her stuff. She can't play because their floor is filled with too many toys. And her mama gently nudges her into, let's play a game and we're going to sort through our things and we're going to give them to other children who don't have as much. So it also is this idea of generosity built in, and how we are often so blessed, especially if we're buying books on decluttering, we're listening to podcasts about how to get rid of stuff. People that are your audience and my audience are very blessed in their lives. And so how
Mhm.
can we help others as well?
And
Hopefully that answered your question. It was quite long.
no, it wasn't long, and it did answer my question. And I love this book because you do. It's almost. I mean, this book was geared for children, but I think
Yes.
adults can learn something from this book too, because it takes them on a journey. You got so much stuff, and then you're just trying to figure out how to start. But then you realize, and then it was like that moment where she was like, "I do feel better when I give things away, and then my
Yeah.
room feels better."
Yeah.
And it was just so many lessons. So I guess my first question is, how can we, and I say we because there are people who have children. I've got God granted the adults now,
Oh.
but you've got grandchildren. Like, how can we use this book really to teach our kids to be organized? And also, I just might add, you know Deanna, I was going to say Lenora. Deanna also gives you some cute little, she's got little things there. See, there's something for
Yeah.
the kids. I mean, and those are the labels that we need to use as adults, but I'll let you answer that question.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah, it takes you through this idea of keeping the things you want to keep. Those are your favorites, right? The things you use every day, the things that you actually like. We always hear this like spark joy, but what lights you up? What are the things that you actually want in your life? And I think I'm here too, right? I'm raising my hand. There's lots of things that come into my life that I think I wanted, or I've grown out of them. I've moved past them. I'm in a different stage of life now. And oftentimes we just don't even look at those things. So it's this idea of just taking a moment to look at your stuff and sorting into those three piles: keep, toss, or give, right? The toss are the things, it says in the book, they're too worn to possess, right? Things that have used up their life. They're no longer good, right? We don't want to donate those to the thrift stores or to charities. They're already inundated with enough stuff. So I wanted us to have that moment of like, it's okay if stuff has used up its life and to throw it away, right? Let's not give the not good stuff to other people. But we want to give those things that, in the book, Lenora has some friends and she has some things that she's not like, she doesn't want them anymore, but they're very special to her. And it's really difficult for her to let those things go. And she gives them then to friends, right? To people that she knows or has the ability to see that they're going to go to, others. This might be your neighborhood kid down the street. Maybe they're not good friends with these kids, but they kind of know like, oh, it's going to be used by someone. And we have that in our lives too as adults. And for us, it's more about, it was expensive. I feel like I'm wasteful because I spent so much money on this thing, and how much time, time versus money and all that kind of stuff that comes up for us, all these icky emotions. So for us as adults, that's where that comes into. But for kids, it's more like, this was really special to me. They have no idea how much money was spent on it. It could be a, $2 toy and they're just really attached to it. And the $100 thing you bought them, they're like, never even cared about it. So for them, it's not that. But for us, obviously as adults, it generally is. So giving it to someone, maybe through your church or through an organization that you belong to, or a neighbor down the street, someone that you can have just that slight connection to say, oh, it is going to be used. It's not going into the dark abyss of Goodwill or to the charity shop, whichever one is yours of choice. I know that someone's going to appreciate this and use this. So that's a way we can use some of those lessons in the book.
So, Deanna, as we kind of approach that back to school season,
Yeah.
what are some like lessons, I guess, that parents can kind of not only take from the book, but maybe teach their kids? Because, it's all about, okay, we got to get the school supplies. Now, a lot of children wear uniforms, but some still wear
Yeah.
their regular clothes. And then, of course, it's just all that stuff coming in. So, what are some lessons that maybe, parents and kids can just kind of sit down together and just figure out, okay, this is how we're going to navigate the new school year?
Oh, I love back to school. I love it because it's such a great moment of growth, right? It is such a great definition, defined time to say, okay, you were in first grade. Now we're going into second grade. And it gives you a wonderful time to ask, like, what do you think second graders need? What do you think second grade's going to be about? What are you excited about? And have a positive spin on it, right? It's not about what are we getting rid of. It's not letting go. It's not throwing away and tossing, and we don't care about that anymore. It is more about what are the positive things we can look at into the future? Because I think we have a lot of like just that fear of letting go and the guilt that comes around it. But if we can look at it from like, okay, this year, what are we hoping to do? What are we looking to do? What kind of clothes do you want to wear as a second grader? And then letting go of the things that don't fit that vision that we have for that next chapter of our life. And I know those are big words, right? We don't necessarily say that to our kids, but that's how we as adults can look at it. Like, okay, hey, I'm no longer the mom to a baby, right? Like, okay, I can get rid of my maternity bras. I'm not going to be nursing that kid anymore. So, what can I do now that I'm moving into this next chapter of my life as well? So, I think there's a big difference between kinder and below, right?
Mhm,
Kinder and younger. You're
mhm.
going to have a lot more active time. And obviously, your kids and school age kids are still very active. I have a very active 11-year-old, but the activities we do are different. I still get on the floor and crawl around with her, but I don't do it every single day anymore, right? So I don't need the same things I needed when she was younger. So looking at that stage as well, we as adults are constantly evolving and our stages are just a little bit longer and drawn out than our kids. Our kids are going so fast and changing. So it's easier to let go of their things. I mean, we have to buy clothes every few months because they grow so much, right? And hopefully that's not happening for us as adults.
Mhm,
Maybe
mhm,
it is, but
mhm.
hopefully it's not. And so having that idea, that same idea of like quick progress for kids, but we are still having that progress in our lives too as adults, and having just those defined moments of what do I want this next year to look like for myself as well, I think is a really great way to spin the decluttering and organizing.
And I like that, Deanna, because it's like both of us are going through it together, and maybe it will inspire and encourage the child to like, oh well, mom and
Oh
dad are
yeah.
doing this, so let me do something as well. I like that. I liked it, but I think this is a wonderful book. So, Deanna, how do you stay organized? Because you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a podcaster, you're an author, and probably other titles as well. So, how do you like manage it all? And then, of course, then when you
Yeah.
throw in, you've just come back from a trip, but then you've got to throw in the whole new school's year. How do you do
Oh yeah. One day at a time.
it?
To be honest, I think it's just a perspective shift of like, yeah, I've got a lot going on. And what are the things that are really important to me? I've gotten very, I won't say good at it, but more practiced at saying no to the things that aren't going to really make a difference for me, or help me. I've tried to get very clear on what it is that I actually want. What is that vision that I have? And then I can weigh everything to that. So I have a little bit of a decluttering framework I use, and the last three parts of it are decide, oust, and manage. And so you make that decision, right? Making a decision about where I am, how I want to be, what are the things I need for that. Then I can oust things that don't fit to that vision, and then I can manage what remains. It's so much easier when you have less to manage. And I think that is really the crux of all of it, right? Just we can't do everything. So we have to choose the things that we do want to do.
Mm, wow, that was well said. Yeah, and that's something that all of us can do. So, how can
Yeah.
people get a copy of this?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. So, yeah, just go on Amazon. It's Lenora and her super duper messy room. There's a Kindle and a paperback version of it. And yeah, like at the end, you showed the really fun labels, which are super cute and fun. I also have different versions on my website. So, if you don't want just the kind of just this generic one, you can get fairy, princess, pirate, superhero, space themed. So there's really fun ways to get your kids involved if they I know I've had some people say, but I have a boy and they don't want this one. And I was like, well, I got space theme for you. I got pirates, superheroes, so super fun. Other versions as well, if that's of interest.
But I
Yeah.
think this is a good. I mean, yes, Kindle is wonderful. But
I know.
also, this is good too because see, this is something like you can curl up on the sofa, on the floor, in the bed, and just kind of
Yeah.
go and read through it. And then you've got the pictures of Lenora, and you can just see how she's not only cleaning her room, but she's also giving stuff away as well.
Oh.
So, well, Deanna, thank you so much. This has been an enjoyable conversation. It's like I said, I enjoyed the book. I just curled up in bed and I just read those. And it was nice
Oh, I'm
just to
so
read
happy
some.
you liked it.
Yeah, and it was just nice just to read something that it was like inspirational, motivational. It has a really nice ending to it. So I love the book. And of course, those of you watching and even listening, you know I will have all of Deanna's links in the show page so you can connect with her directly. You can get her book. And of course, I always suggest not just get one book, get two. You know, I'm sure your child, maybe your friend's child, maybe a niece and nephew, get two. So, Deanna, thank you so much for your time. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, thank you, Janet. You have a wonderful day.